Nobody likes being neglected. Do you like neglect? Do you like it when people forget about you? Would you like it if you met someone who was really cool, seemed like they were going to be your new greatest friend in the world, they invite you around for dinner one time, and then you just never hear back from them again? Then why are you doing it with your leads? So often I see business whining and dining their leads, but then they're not. So often we can spend too much time at looking at finding our leads and winning leads, but no effort is actually given to converting leads that we already have. You might have already heard that it's cheaper to keep a customer than it is to find a new customer. And it's a similar concept here. It's cheaper to convert a lead than it is to convert a cold audience, someone who has absolutely no idea who you are. These leads have already given an indication that they want something of what you have to offer, so you should be selling to them. One way that we can convert those leads is using well-tailored email sequences. So I want to give you some of the tips that I've used in creating email sequences and some of the tips that I've used for creating an email sequence for one of my clients who's now generating over $15,000 a month. So first, just as a kind of housekeeping thing when you're getting your email sequences set up, is the setup. And what I mean by that is, what system are you using for your email automations, and have you done all the appropriate steps for making sure that your account is going to work, your emails are going to go, they're not just going to get blocked or sent to spam. So you want to make sure you've got an email that is warmed up, and what I mean by that is it's not just a brand new fresh email. Those kind of email accounts, often your emails will go to spam, and particularly if you're sending emails out to loads of people in one day or at one time. Now, there are softwares and tools that can warm up an email address for you. I believe Lemlist is one of those tools. I think it's specifically called Lemwarm within Lemlist. So make sure you're not just using a fresh email, because the likelihood is that you'll get a massive bounce rate, or emails will just end up in your leads spam box. But you also want to make sure you're using the right tool to be sending out your emails. So for me, again, you'll have heard me use this name before. Go High Level is what I use for my email sequences. They're a fantastic all-in-one platform, CRM, web design, reporting, email scheduling, membership site, product site. They do loads of great stuff, and one of the things I use them for is for my email sequences. So I'll leave a link to that in the description below. It is an affiliate link, but I won't recommend things to you guys just for a quick penny. I'll only recommend things that I truly believe in. So within Go High Level, or whatever system it is that you choose to use, they will often run you through setup steps to make sure that your emails will go out properly, and to ensure that you'll get proper reporting to see what your emails are doing, how many people are opening them, how many of them are bouncing. So whatever platform it is you use, just make sure you go through the appropriate steps to make sure your account is ready to go. So into the meat and bones of the emails themselves, I'm going to give some quick tips that I use when creating my sequences, and then show you an example sequence that I used for this client, as I mentioned, that is now bringing in over $15,000 a month. So step number one, your leads are going to be getting tens, if not hundreds of emails in their email box every day. And so you want your email to stand out. You want them to obviously click on your email. So don't sound too businessy in your emails. Create headlines and speak in a way that is almost like they're getting an email from a friend. So use short headlines, even things like the formatting of your headlines, like don't capitalize the start of every word. Make it look like it's an email from mom or dad, or from a best friend or whatever. Make it look like an email that they want to open. I guess in a similar vein, in the formatting of your emails, make sure the formatting is simple. What I mean by that is, although it can often look nice if you put loads of brand colors and images and logos and all those bits and pieces and make it look really nice, a lot of research has found that really simple, just like text emails convert very well. Again, I'm sure if you look at some of the emails that you're getting from businesses or people that are trying to sell you something, I'm sure you'll see a lot of examples like that. So make it simple, break things down into small bite-sized chunks. Don't put massive paragraphs in there. We want it to be easily readable. Next, use a phrase that I've probably said in like 90% of my videos, is create intrigue. So yes, we want to talk like a friend. We want people to click on our emails because it seems like a friendly email and not a salesy email. We want to keep it simple, but we want it to be intriguing. We want our headline to be, although simple, make it intriguing. Now, I don't want to be deceiving. So I've had salesy emails, for example, that have said like payment received or like order confirmation. That was a really good one recently. It really hacked me off. An annoying one I had recently was follow up, and it was a cold email. It was from no one I'd ever heard from before. So you don't want to put stuff in there that's going to irritate people or is deceptive. But a clever one that I did enjoy recently was someone had the headline of their email was in the format of like the email you get from LinkedIn when someone's requested to connect with you. That kind of format, something a bit cheeky, something that creates intrigue. That's what we want. We want it to sound like a friend, and we want a simple format, but we want them to want to read the next line in your email. Create some sort of intrigue, almost tell a story in what it is that is in your emails. So a couple of more specific tools, and I know we're talking about emails here, but use emails alongside texts as well. Now again, this is something that Go High Level does and Go High Level can handle. So big shout out to Go High Level once again. But speaking from personal experience, and I'm sure experience for yourselves as well, we can get tens, even hundreds of emails per day. And so often at the end of the day, we can just go through and mark them all as read or delete them or whatever. Or some of you psychos won't even read them. You'll just leave your inbox at 5,000 emails. But texts, I'm sure we all check all of our texts. So send an email, but back it up with a text as well. By the way, did you see my email? And obviously include who you are in the email as well. You don't want to just send them a, did you see my email, from an unknown number and totally freak them out. So make sure that you put your name or your business name within those texts. But that can be a really powerful way to increase the open rate of your emails. One other cheeky little thing that I use, provoke a response when sending out these emails, is this little piece of text, which I'm sure you can read really well, is creating an email within your sequence that asks your leads, oh, are my emails going to spam? Now again, these people are leads that we're talking about here, so they know you, they recognize your email if it comes into their inbox. And so if you then ask them, is this going to spam? They already like you a little bit, you've already got a small bit of relationship there. So the chances are they will probably reply to that and say, oh no, don't worry, it's fine, I am getting these. And often that can either provoke a question from them as well. So they'll say, no, it's fine. Oh, by the way, or it just opens up the conversation. In almost all my email sequences and campaigns that I've set up, this one gets the biggest reply rate because it's not just a cold audience, it's people who know you and so are gonna probably wanna reply to this and tell you that everything's okay. And last, and as always, certainly not least, is a CTA. Make sure that your emails have some sort of call to action. All of this is great if used properly, but if you don't have any action for them to take at the end of the email, what is the point? But you don't need me to tell you that. You've got that all under control, I'm sure. So I want to just give you a quick diagram of what this sequence looks like for this client that I helped create $15,000 of Generoo revenue per month. So there are 4 main parts of the sequence. 2 of them are quite similar, but they do serve their own purpose, so I will show them to you. The first part of the sequence is what I call the ghosting sequence. And this is where someone has given you a lead, they're giving you their contact. Hopefully you've set up some sort of funnel so that once they've submitted that contact, you prompt them to do something straight away on your website or after they've clicked on your ad. But it might be that they haven't taken any action, they haven't booked in a call, they haven't bought your product or your sample, they're just now lost in the ether. And this often is actually where the businesses will ghost the leads. The leads have said, look, I'm interested, please give me some more information, and then they don't get it. So I guess this works both ways. So in here you want to prompt your leads a little bit, just ask if they are still interested in what it is that you have, what it is you're selling, whatever it was that they clicked on an ad for, why ever they gave you their contact in the first place. Allude to it a little bit. Are you interested in getting a 6-pack in 10 days? Are you interested in finding true happiness in your marriage? Whatever it is that you are trying to sell to your customers, just give it to them plain there. Are you interested in this result? Are you still interested in this result? This is definitely a good sequence, and this will be where I put in that spam message that I told you about. So, oh, these messages go into spam. But I think at this point, one of the key parts is just to keep it light, keep it light-hearted, put in like some GIFs, a bit of humor in there, a funny image. We're not really trying to give like a massive hard sell at this point. We're trying to put it in the lead's hands. We're trying to say to them, hey, you submitted interest to this. Do you still want it? We've still got it, we're still waiting for you. We want to help you, but the ball is kind of in your court at this point. So the next 2, and I will just put these in the same category. For this specific example, in this specific case study, once a lead gave their contact details, they were then prompted to book a call with the business. And so we had a sequence here where if they booked a call and they either canceled the call or they just didn't show up, there was a specific sequence of emails that went out to them. So if you don't have a call booked system within your funnel, then this may not be relevant for you, but I would advise to watch anyway because you might be able to take some nuggets out of it and apply it to whatever your funnels are. So although a lot of this is automated, and I do often speak about automation, the first thing to do in this is to send a manual email with a kind of a pre-assigned format, like a template, but within that, you suggest a specific time to rebook. So you could just send a blanket email here and say, oh, check out my calendar and see if there's a date or a time that fits you. But if you suggest a specific time, that provokes a more direct response. It's either, yes, I can do that date, fantastic, or no, I can't do that date. It's much more likely to start and open up a conversation than if you were just to say, look at my calendar. At this point, we do want to take some of the effort off of the client. We don't want to have to make our customers work too hard at this point to figure out whether they can chat to us or not. We want to make life as stress-free as possible for them. We still want to be relatively light-hearted at this point. You don't want to be, I mean, this kind of applies for all of these. You don't want to be really cramming the sale down their throat. Be light-hearted in your text, but you know, we're still implying, by the way, we really think we've got something good here for you. So no pressure, but you do want to check this out. And I would say if after this manual one, you don't get a response or they don't rebook with you, then do in these emails, of course, in this part of the sequence, include your calendar so they can rebook in when they can find an appropriate time. Then the last one, if they go through both of those sequences and they don't take any action, they don't become a customer, don't rebook a call or whatever, they go through to a lead nurturing sequence. Now this is a bit more of a hard sale. It's a bit more salesy than beforehand. We're telling them a bit more about what it is we do. This is kind of copy and text that you would see in ads or landing pages, this kind of sequence. So here we want to use a few key things. We want to use case studies as and where we can to show your leads good results of what it is that you have and why they should be interested and how you can find the same results for them. You want to promote yourself as the better service. So you want to say to your leads, this is why what I have to offer is better. And try and do some comparison if you know any competitors. Explain in these emails, in this sequence, why you are the better service provider. We also as well want to talk about any objections or questions that customers may have at this point. Any common ones, frequently asked questions, frequent objections that come up in your conversations with your customers. Chat about those in this part of the email sequence. Because again, at this point, these leads are a long way down the funnel. It may be that they've even, they went through the whole ghosting sequence and then they booked in a call and they didn't show up for the call, so they've gone through the whole cancellation sequence. These customers will seriously know who you are. So at this point, we're trying to show them that there's no reason not to buy into whatever it is that you're offering to them. No reason not. No reason to. There isn't not to, that's correct. And then the last thing I like to do at the end of this sequence is throw in like a Hail Mary, seriously milk the intrigue. You want to tell some sort of epic story here. This is an amalgamation of everything you've already done. You want to combine it into one incredible piece of email content that your leads are desperately going to want to read, and it's going to take them on an epic journey that will leave them with no choice but to sign up or purchase or take whatever step it was. In this example, the sales funnel was primarily using calls. So even if they had been in a call, we were still prompting them to book another call because the conversion rate of those calls was very high. So I guess the last kind of point is on that. The emails that you set up in these sequences, you don't want them all to come one after another. Make sure that there's kind of a gap of time for them to actually read the emails. So typically like 24 to 48 hours before each email. Check if they've taken the action that you want them to take, and if not, then send them to the next part of the sequence. And as I say, just as one final plug, the software, the tool that I use to set up all of this is Go High Level. Check out the link in my description. Guys, if you enjoyed this video or got any value out of it at all, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. I've got tons more videos just like this coming up very soon. I actually as well have a much more in-depth video of this sequence and more specifically what the emails were in that sequence. If you want to check that out, it is available in my Digital Dominance community, which I'll leave a link to in my bio. There are also tons of other resources in that community you can find on how to make more money for your business, all with more margins, making more time for yourself.